This is High Power.
Yes, a beautiful morning to you, and welcome to another edition of In the Papers, the program where we present and discuss the major headlines from newspapers within and outside Nigeria. We bring you top stories from major newspapers highlighting key issues in politics, business, sports, and entertainment, and give you a peek of what is making news today. I am INIOLUWA ADEKOYA, and with me this morning is
FLORENCE.
And this morning I will be reviewing headlines from the Punch newspaper, the Herb newspaper, This Day newspaper, and the Nation newspaper, while my colleague will take us through headlines from
Still Punch newspaper, the Hope newspaper, Daily Trust, and This Day newspaper.
We will take a short break. When we return, we will go straight into our first set of headlines. Glad to have you back. You're still on to In the Papers, coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM. Straight to the headlines, beginning from the Herb newspaper with this headline: Ayedatiwa pays bulk gratuities to 2016/2017 retirees today.
Still taking stories, taking headlines from the Hope, where we have stakeholders hail Tinubu's planned visa to Ondo for Seaport project.
And on the Herb newspaper, Oyebanji, a worthy successor, Fayemi applauds.
And of course, straight to the Punch, where we have the Free Nnamdi Kanu protesters defy security warning, vows Villa march.
Still on the Herb newspaper on my end, INEC issues official notice for Anambra governor election.
And of course, still taking headlines from the Punch, where we have NDLEA seizes drugs hidden in frozen snail electrical bulbs.
I took a flight to join you on the Punch newspaper. Maths, English remain compulsory subjects for O-level students, says federal government.
And of course, from the Punch, where we have police rescue Edo traders in foiled kidnap attempt.
Yes, still on the Punch newspaper, PDP conventions face fresh setback over alleged signature forgery.
And of course, from the Punch, where we have APC youth leader, minister-led breast cancer campaign.
On the Punch newspaper, Osinbajo leads ECOWAS team to monitor Cote d'Ivoire polls.
And of course, we have this one as Lagos Deputy Governor rallies support for underprivileged Nigerians.
Coming from the Punch newspaper, federal government sacks contractor, terminates Port Harcourt about highway contract.
We have this also, government urges residents to obtain building permits.
I take a flight to the Daily Post newspaper. Lagos government seals proposed cemetery in Surulere after residents protest.
Zamfara APC denies UN Governor Lawal.
Still on the Daily Post newspaper, Soludo says everybody can now sleep with eyes closed in Anambra.
And of course, straight to the Nations, where we have Ondo government, PDP trade blames over alleged coordinated attack on Ayedatiwa's administration.
On the Nation newspaper, Jonathan X8 Dudafa dumps PDP for APC.
And still taking stories from the Nation, where we have Afe Babalola decries I-bank interest rates.
On the Nation newspaper, talking IPOP leader challenges court's jurisdiction in fresh motion.
And still taking headlines from the Nation, where we have Tinubu's renewed hope housing project to deliver 38,400 bed spaces.
Finally, on my end, on the Nation newspaper, ADC frowns at purported donations for Soludo's campaign.
And from the Nation, where we have APC chairman suspended in Edo State.
Yes, and with that, we will take a short break. When we get back, we will take a look at what is making rounds in the papers this morning. Don't go anywhere.
Glad to have you back. You're still listening to iPower 102.7 FM. And of course, the program is in the papers. Your daily nugget for stories making round in today's newspaper. And from my hand, where I have the story from the Hope, stakeholders hails Tinubu's planned visit to Ondo for Seaport project. Now the details. The much anticipated Ondo Deep Seaport project promises to be a game changer for the Ondo state, particularly for Ondo South and its surrounding communities. Stakeholders, including the Nigerian Port Authority, security experts, traditional rulers, local business leaders, and residents, expressed optimism in separate interviews with the Hub. They called on the government and contractors to work closely with the Nigerian Police Force and the Nigerian Army to safeguard personnel, equipment, and the construction site. They also recommended that Ondo develop a computerized technological advanced facility that meets global standard. Recall that President Tinubu is expected to visit Ondo State in February next year for the official groundbreaking ceremony of the Ondo Deep Seaport, which is projected to transform the state's economic landscape. Mr. Sani Issa Abubakar, director of the Tinkan Island Port, Lagos, described the project as game-changing opportunity that would significantly enhance the state economy prospects and improve the livelihood of its residents. For details of that story, see the Hope newspaper with the headline, Stakeholders hails Tinubu planned visit to Ondo for Seaport project.
Still on the Hope newspaper, Ayedatiwa pays bulk gratuities for 2016/2017 retirees today. And now to the details. Ondo State Governor Dr. Lucky Ayedatiwa will today effect the bulk payment of gratuities to state retirees of the 2016 and 2017 batches, reaffirming his administration's commitment to clearing outstanding pension liabilities of retired public servants in the state. The event, organized by the Ondo State Pension Transitional Department, is scheduled to commence at 10 a.m. at the Cocoa Conference Hall, Governor Office, Alagbaka, Akure. Today's exercise comes barely a week after Governor Ayedatiwa initiated the payment of 1.4 billion naira in bulk gratuities in 2014 retirees, a gesture that drew commendations from the labor unions, civil servants, and pensioners association across the state. During the previous event, the governor restated his administration's unwavering resolve to clear all outstanding gratuities and faces, describing the prompt settlement of retirees' entitlement as both a moral imperative and a constitutional duty. For more details on that story, check the Hope newspaper with the headline, Ayedatiwa pays bulk gratuities to 2016/2017 retirees today.
And of course, straight to the Punch, where I have APC youth leaders, ministers lead breast cancer campaign. Now the details. Hundreds of young Nigerians turned out in Abuja on Saturday for the Progress in Pink Walk, a breast cancer awareness march organized by the APC Youth Wing to mark Breast Cancer Awareness Month. According to a statement made available to the Punch on Sunday, the 4-kilometer walk tagged Walk for Hope, Walk for Life. The walk, which began at the Nest Resource Center, was led by the APC National Youth Leader, Dr. Dayo Israel. Speaking at the rally, Israel emphasized the importance of self-awareness and early action in combating the disease. He said that we'll join the fight against childhood and adolescent cancer, commending President Tinubu's administration as the first in Nigeria's history to invest significantly in cancer eradication, with the 2025 budget marking the highest allocation ever for diagnosis and treatment. Women should know their bodies and act quickly if they notice anything unusual. Awareness and early detection saves life, he said. The Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Isiaq Salako, commended the youth wing for championing public health awareness, noting that 8 of the 100 breast cancer cases in Nigeria are detected late. He urged Nigerians to prioritize regular checkups, preventive care, and healthy lifestyle. For details of that story, see the Punch newspaper with the headline, APC Youth Leader Minister Lead Breast Cancer Campaign.
Still on the Earth newspaper, Oyebanji, a worthy successor, Fayemi applauds. And now to the details. Immediate past governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, has commended the incumbent governor of the state, Mr. Biodun Oyebanji, for his development strides, transformative leadership, and for building on the legacy of continuity in governance. Describing the governor as his greatest achievement, the former governor gave the recommendation at Ijeluwa during the commissioning of the newly constructed Itakpa-Ijelu-Omu Road as part of activities marking the 3rd anniversary of Oyebanji's administration. Addressing journalists at the event, Dr. Fayemi said he would describe Oyebanji as his greatest achievement. He said, and I quote, "Absolutely, he is my greatest achievement because I have my own imperfections, but those imperfections he has managed to either correct or reduce them. And God has been kind to us in Ekiti by giving us a governor who can focus on the transformation agenda for the people of Ekiti and who is not given to unnecessary politicking at the expense of important issues of development." For more details on that story, check the Earth newspaper with the headline, Oyebanji, a worthy successor, Fayemi applauds.
A quick look at the Guardian newspaper, where we have ASU confirms talk with federal government. Federal government team as strike enters 7th day. Now the details. As the two-week warning strike embarked upon by the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU enters its 7th day, the union has confirmed negotiation with the federal government renegotiation team led by Yahayele Ahmed. According to ASU, progress is being recorded in 5 of 7 demands. In another development, the Federal Ministry of Education denies knowledge of any sponsorship request for 15-year-old Agbo Adoga, a student of Graceland International School, Port Harcourt, who reportedly qualified to represent Nigeria at the International Mathematics of the Olympia in China. In a bulletin dated October 19, 2025, seen by The Guardian, ASU President Professor Christopher Piwana listed the areas of progress to include the release of the third-party deductions, areas of promotion, the mainstream of earned academic allowances, confiscation of University of Abuja land, as well as the victimization of members in Prince Abubakar Abudu Audu University, Lagos State University, and the Federal University of Technology, Futo. And entitled Strike Bulletin Number 2, a correspondent acknowledged that some notable Nigerians had also been involved in finding lasting solutions to the impasse. Piwana insisted that ASU members had been resolute in the implementation of the National Executive Council resolution of September 28, 2025 in respect of the warning strike. For details of that story, see the Guardian newspaper with the headline, ASU confirms talk with federal government team as strike enters 7th day.
Still on the Old newspaper, INEC issues official notice for Anambra governor election. And now to the details. The Independent National Electoral Commission has issued a notice for the November 8th governorship election in Anambra State, as required by the Electoral Act. INEC Public Relations Officer in the state, Mrs. Ugoma Lechuku, issued the notice briefing newsmen recently in Accra. And now in Accra, the statement reads, and I quote, the INEC notice of poll is in accordance with the section of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended. Notice is hereby given that elections to the office of the governorship shall be held on November 8th, 2025. Lechuku said that the election will commence at 8:30 a.m. and end by 2:30 p.m., adding that each voter would vote at the center he or she registered. According to her, only people whose names appear on the registers of voters and have a valid voter's card are eligible to vote on that day. It was gathered that no fewer than 16 governorship candidates would participate in the gubernatorial election. Reports added that 2 out of 16 candidates are females, while 14 of them are males. For more details on that story, check the Earth newspaper with the headline, INEC issues official notice for Anambra governorship election.
Still taking stories from The Guardian, where we have federal government reverses policy on maths as parent-teachers protest. Now the details. Celebration by some students of Art and Humanities over the federal government's announcement that mathematics was no longer compulsory for admission may have been cut short, as the government has made a U-turn, insisting that the subject remains mandatory for admission into tertiary institutions. The government announced the reversal just as parent teachers faltered the mathematics waiver and advocated the pass grade. Last Thursday, the federal government announced that mathematics would no longer be mandatory subject for the student applying into tertiary institution to pursue course in the art and humanity. Particularly, the government declared that the new policy would affect admission requirements for universities, polytechnic, college of education, and innovation enterprise institution nationwide. But in a statement yesterday, the Director of Press and Public Relations, Federal Ministry of Education, Boriowo Folashade, clarified that English and mathematics remained compulsory for all O-level students. The statement titled, English and Maths remain compulsory for all O-level students. Federal government clarifies streamlined admission requirement, maintain that English and mathematics remain vital tools for communication, reasoning, and lifelong learning. It reads, the federal government of the Federal Ministry of Education has clarified that all students must continue to register and sit for the English language and mathematics in their O-level examination. The new policy does not exempt any candidate from these core subjects, but rather introduce a more inclusive and flexible approach to tertiary admission requirements. For details, see the Guardian newspaper with the headline, Federal Government reverses policy on maths as parents and teachers protest.
And now I take a flight to the Punch newspaper. PDP convention faces fresh setbacks over alleged signature forgery. And now to the details. The crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party has taken a new twist as the party's National Secretary, Senator Samuel INIOLUWA, has alleged the forgery of his signature in a letter notifying the National Electoral Commission of the party's National Convention scheduled for November 15th and 16th in Ibadan, Oyo State. INIOLUWA, an ally of the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, made the allegation in petitions he sent to the INEC, the Department of State Services, and the Inspector General of Police. In a petition dated October 15th, which was cited by newsmen, INIOLUWA stated that he never signed the August 29 letter to INEC notifying the electoral body of the party's November 15th and 16th National Convention. His letter addressed to the acting chairman of INEC was titled Re People's Democratic Party Year 2025 Elective National Convention Petition Against Forgery and Cloning of Signature. INIOLUWA declared, and the reference correspondence was neither signed, approved, nor issued by him. He wrote, and I quote, "My attention has been drawn to the above titled official letter to the Independent National Electoral Commission with reference number PDP/DOM/GF.2/volume.1M/25140 dated Monday, August 25, 2025, purportedly signed by me. Regrettably, the quoted letter was never signed, authorized, unknown to me. It is shocking to have forged or cloned version of my signature on a letter." For more details on that story, check the Punch newspaper with the headline PDP convention faces fresh setback over alleged signature forgery.
You're still listening to IPower 102.7 FM, and the program is in the papers. To reach us with your feedback and comments, you can reach our studio line 0816-552-4699. 0816-552-4699. To also join us on all our social media handle. The handle is iPower1027FM on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and on X, which is formerly known as Twitter. You can reach us on iPower1027, iPower1027. And of course, still taking stories, and this one from the Nation newspaper, where we have Tinubu's renewed Hope Housing Project to deliver 38,400 bed spaces. Now the details. The renewed Hope Student Housing Project, an initiative of Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, is set to deliver over 38,400 world-class student hostel bed spaces in 24 locations, including 12 universities, 6 polytechnics, and 6 college of education before the end of next year. The project, a public-private partnership initiative of Tinubu, is intended to improve the living standard and revitalize infrastructures across tertiary institutions in the country. According to a statement by the promoter of the project, the renewed Hope Students Hostel project in each of the 24 locations will boost 1,600 bed space, 400 ensuite rooms, and with study tables and chairs, 4 reading rooms, common room, cafeteria and restaurants, grocery shop, salon, as well as public toilets, put together by Family Home Fund Limited in partnership with the federal government of Nigeria, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, and African Plus Partnership Nigeria Limited is set to deliver on Mr. President promise to transform student accommodation nationwide. Currently, the project has recommended in a total of 6 locations across the country, with distribution of 3 locations in the northern Nigeria, which includes Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, the Federal Polytechnic Bauchi, and FCT College of Education Zuba. For details of that story, see the Nation's newspaper with the headline: Tinubu's renewed hope housing project to deliver 38,400 bed spaces.
Still on the Punch newspaper on my end, Osibanjo leads ECOWAS team to monitor Cote d'Ivoire poll. And now to the details. Former Vice President Yemi Osibanjo SAN has been appointed by the Economic Community of West African States to add its election observation mission for the forthcoming presidential election in Cote d'Ivoire. According to statements from ECOWAS, the election is scheduled to be held on October 25th, 2025, while the observation mission will be deployed from October 19th to 29th, 2025, in accordance with the provisions of ECOWAS Supplementary Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance. The statement reads, and I quote, "As head of mission, Osibanjo will lead a delegation of eminent West Africans who will engage with key national stakeholders to encourage a peace and credible electoral process. The team will also collaborate with internationals and domestic observers group to assess the conduct of the poll." The regional body said the deployment of the mission underscores ECOWAS' commitment to promoting peace, stability, and credible elections across West Africa. The Cote d'Ivoire election comes at a critical time for the region, where several member states are preparing for key national polls amid efforts to consolidate democratic governance. For more details on that story, check the Punch newspaper with the headline, Osibanjo leads ECOWAS team to monitor Cote d'Ivoire poll.
You're still listening to iPower 102.7 FM, and the program is in the papers. We're going to go on a short break. When we come back, we continue the rest of the stories for today. Glad to have you back. You're still listening to iPower 102.7 FM, and of course the program is in the papers, your daily dose of stories making round on today's newspaper. And of course, straight to the Punch, where I have this one coming to you. It says ex-Lagos deputy governor rallies support for underprivileged Nigerians. Now the details of the story. As part of activities marking the 80th birthday of a former female deputy governor of Lagos State, Al-Aja Sinatu Ojikutu, has called on well-meaning individuals to show love and support to the deprived and underprivileged in the society. Ojikutu made the appeal in a statement issued ahead of her birthday on October 23rd, 2025, obtained on Sunday. Rather than receiving gifts in celebration, she declared that the day is for fasting and prayers, urging that the public to channel their generosity towards helping the vulnerable. She emphasized that the global economic crisis has deepened suffering across nations, and only collective compassion and spiritual intervention can help alleviate the hardship. Acute hardship is biting other, and there is a need to seek the face of God to the suffering, to grant those in leadership across the world wisdom, knowledge, and understanding on selfless, non-egotic actions to take, and also grant the masses the discernment, not a clueless support spirit. In what she described as a divine revelation, Ojikuto urged that the birthday gift in our honor to be converted into act of kindness, especially feeding the deprived. She invited well wishers to send her photos of such gestures as she preferred them as a birthday gift. For details of that story, see the Punch newspaper with the headline Ex-Lagos Deputy Governor rallies support for underprivileged Nigerians.
Still on the Punch newspaper, federal government sacks contractor, terminates Port Harcourt Aba highway contract. And now to the details. The federal government has terminated the 43-kilometer Port Harcourt Aba road contract being handled by the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation over poor performance. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, said the decision followed the contractor's persistent failure to improve its work despite repeated warnings, which has led to the collapse of the section of the project despite huge funds already expended. Umahi disclosed this to newsmen shortly after inspecting the project recently, adding that federal government will now engage in competent indigenous contractors to take over and complete the job. He said, and I quote, Today, the controller reported to me that the Aba bound of Port Harcourt Aba Road, being constructed by the CCECC, is at the verge of total collapse. This job, 43 kilometers from Port Harcourt to Aba, is an inherited project, and since we came on board, we have been doing everything, putting funds to see how we can finish one carriageway. And so we started working with CECC on this one carriageway using concrete to do the inner shoulders and outer shoulders so as to ensure the road lasts, while they're using asphalt to do the 7.3 carriageway. And their methods of construction has been a very serious source of concern, where you will do binder for over a stretch of 30 kilometers and you're not putting wearing. We have issued warnings to CECC more than 20 times, and we have told them the implications of putting binder without doing shoulders and without wearing. For more details on that story, check the Punch newspaper with the headline Federal Government Sacks Contractor Terminates Port Harcourt Aba Highway Road.
And still taking stories from the Punch, where we have government urges residents to obtain building permits. Now the details. The Lagos State Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Dr. Oluyinka Olumide, has called on residents, Community Development Association, community development committees, and other stakeholders in Ojo, Badagry, Iba, Otuawuri, Amuwo, Oriade, and Olorunda district to ensure that they obtain planning permits for all physical development in their respective areas. Olumide made the call during an awareness program organized by the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authorities to sensitize stakeholders to the importance and social benefits of obtaining planning permits both for individuals and the government. The commissioner explained that the many structures cited on the rights of way would be demolished once the government begins road construction in the affected areas, stressing that such losses could be avoided if the owners had secured proper planning permits. He said, and I quote, if any building sited on the rights of way had obtained a planning permit, the owner would be adequately compensated. The general manager, LASPPPA, Kehinde Osinaike, reiterated openness to the public and encouraged residents, developers, and professionals to visit the agency for clarification or assistance regarding planning permit application. For details of that story, see the Punch newspaper with the headline Government urges residents to obtain building permits.
And now to the Daily Post newspaper. Lagos government seals proposed cemetery in Surulere after residents protest. And now to the details. Lagos State Government has sealed a construction site earmarked for proposed cemetery within the residential area in Bode Thomas, Surulere, following protests from residents of the Natufe and Nimashaun community who raised environmental and health concerns. Residents who staged a peaceful demonstration recently despite heavy rainfall warned that the establishment of a cemetery in their neighborhoods would contaminate their borehole and endanger public health. The protesters, carrying placards with inscriptions such as "No cemetery in our community," gathered at the site, a large expanse of land bothered by homes, a church and a school, accusing the developers, identified as Olumide Amure, of disregarding their earlier objections and resuming constructions without due consideration for residents' safety. Reacting to the development, the Lagos State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Benga Omotosho, assured residents that the government had taken decisive actions to halt the project. Omotosho said, and I quote, "The burial ground site has been sealed and no such projects will be developed from there. The people need not worry." Community leaders said this was not the first time the developer had attempted to site a burial ground in the area. Mrs. Omolabake Brahimo, chairperson of the Natufe and Nimashaun Community Development Association (CDA), recalled that residents had previously resisted a similar move 2 years ago. For more details on that story, check the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, "Lagos Government Seals Proposed Cemetery in Surulere After Residents Protest."
And of course, from the point where we have NDLEA seizes drugs hidden in frozen snail and electrical bulbs. Now the details. Operative of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has seized consignments of illicit drugs hidden in frozen snail, electrical bulbs, and female clothes bound for the United States, the United Kingdom, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. According to a statement on Sunday by the agency's spokesperson, Femi Babafemi, the inception was made at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport and a carrier company in Lagos. Babafemi, who said 2 suspects have been arrested in connection with the seizures. One of them, a cargo agent, Boladale Ridwan, was arrested on October 7, 2025, following the discovery of 15 parcels of skunk, a strain of cannabis concealed in 10 pieces of giant rechargeable electric bulbs. It presented in a carton for air freight to the Democratic Republic of Congo at the export shield of the Lagos airport. Babafemi said another suspect, a 48-year-old UK-based public health assistant, Olawale Ikimat, was arrested on October 12 at the departure hall of Terminal 2 of the MMIA Ikeja. He said that she was found with 2,300 pills of tramadol, 225 milligrams, concealed in a frozen snail while attempting to board a Qatar Airways flight to Manchester, United Kingdom. Attempts by another syndicate to export 810 pills of bromazine pill hidden in a female clothing going to the United States was also helped by the NDLEA office on a counter company in Lagos on Thursday, October 16th. He added, in Adamawa State, Babafemi said operative intercepted a suspect, Bello Buba, at the NDLEA checkpoint in Nami Natari, Yola South local government area with 38,270 pills of tramadol concealed in the spare tire boot and door compartment of the Holland Civic. He said the suspect allegedly drove from the Benin Republic to smuggle the drugs into Nigeria. For details of that story, see the Punch newspaper with the headline NDLEA seizes drugs hidden in frozen snail electrical bulbs.
Still on the Daily Post newspaper, everybody can now sleep with eyes closed in Anambra, says Soludo. And now to the details. Governor Chukwuma Soludo of Anambra State says security has improved in the state, stressing that everybody can now sleep with their eyes closed. Soludo made this statement while responding to questions in an interview recently. He stated that 8 councils, including Ihala, which were no-go areas when his administration came on board, had been recovered from non-state actors. The governor added that the feat resulted from his resolve to protect lives and property as part of the 5-point agenda of his administration. He also said, and I quote, "You are the state where before we came into office, nobody could even wear anything that suggested you were a politician," and so on. Dr. Chike Akunyili was killed simply because he had a policeman in his car. Most of the police stations were burnt down, and even soldiers were decimated by these criminal elements. In local government you couldn't travel to, you couldn't get there, and now everybody can sleep with their 2 eyes closed. For more details on that story, check the Daily Post newspaper with the headlines. Everybody can now sleep with eyes closed in Anambra, says Soludo.
And of course, from the Punch, where we have the Free Nnamdi Kanu, protesters defy security warnings, vows Villa march. Now the details. There may be a shutdown between the security forces and the Free Nnamdi Kanu now protest today, Monday, following the plan by the organizers to march on the presidential villa to pressure the government to release from custody Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. This is even as the High Court in Abuja had issued an interim order restraining the organizers from protesting near the villa, the National Assembly, and other key governmental institutions. Despite the judicial orders, the organizers remain defiant, vowing to stick to their original plan of a peaceful convergence in the Federal Capital Territory and the march to Aso Rock Villa. The director of the mobilization for the Take It Back movement, Damilare Adeola, affirmed that the protest would go on as scheduled, both in Abuja and simultaneously in the southeastern states of the country. The nationwide demonstration for the immediate and unconditional release of the IBOB leader was endorsed by the opposition parties. Kanu is being detained on charge of terrorism, treason, and incitement, among others. The federal government alleges he advocated for Biafra independence, though controversial means, including inflammatory rhetoric on social media and Biafra radio. IBOB was declared a terrorist organization in 2017. Kanu fled Nigeria in 2017 while on bail, leading to his rearrest in Kenya in 2021. His extradition from Kenya sparked controversies and legal debates. For details of that story, see the Punch newspaper with the headline, "Protesters defy security warnings, vow Villa march."
And now to the Nation newspaper. Jonathan X8 Dudafa dumps PDP for APC. Now to the details. A former senior special assistant of the ex-president Goodluck Jonathan on domestic matters and social events, Dr. Warikpamo Owe Dudafa, has resigned from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and officially joined the All Progressive Congress (APC). Dr. Dudafa, who also served as a member at the Bayelsa State House of Assembly, and Commissioner for Local Government Chieftaincy and Community Development, announced his resignation in a letter dated October 16, 2025. It was addressed to the chairman of the PDP, Southern Okpokuma Ayibabiri Ward 8 in Kolokuma Okpokuma local government area of Bayelsa State. In a letter titled Letter of Resignation of Membership, Dr. Dudafa said his decision to quit the PDP followed a period of deep reflection and consultation with political association, supporters and family members. He attributed his exit to prolonged and unresolved internal dispute at the national level of PDP, which he said had hindered the party's progress and created a climate of division inconsistent with its founding principles. For more details on that story, check the Nation newspaper with the headline, Jonathan's ex-aide Dudafa dumps PDP for APC.
And this coming from this day, governors abandoning platform that brought them to power will soon regret. Now the details. People's Democratic Party (PDP) yesterday said that the governors and others who were abandoning the platform that brought them to power would soon regret their actions. The PDP accused governors defecting from its fold to the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC) of greed, selfishness and covetousness, insisting that Nigerians would ultimately decide their fate in the 2027 general election. The opposition party maintained that it was not governors who made a political party, but the people. Since the 2023 general election, 4 governors had left PDP. Sheriff Oborivori of Delta State, Uno Eno of Akwa Ibom State, Peter Umba of Enugu State, and Doye Duri of Bayelsa State. While the 3 left immediately for APC, Duri, who recently resigned his membership of PDP, had yet to announce the party is going to. The PDP 2023 presidential candidate, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and his running mate Ifeanyi Okowa had withdrawn their membership along with some key allies. Speaking in an interview on Arise Television, PDP Deputy National Publicity Secretary Ibrahim Abdullahi said the wave of defection was motivated by greed and selfishness. Abdullahi said to the best of my knowledge and that of most Nigerians, you cannot find a compelling reason for a governor, especially one on a second term like in the Bayelsa, to abandon the party that produced him. You cannot find any justifiable reasons other than covetousness, greed and selfishness. For details of that story, see this day newspaper with the headline, Governors abandoning platform that brought them to power will soon regret.
Yes, and with that, we will take a short break. When we get back, we will read a recap of the headlines read out to you. Don't go anywhere. Glad to have you back. You're still on to In the Papers, coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM. For comments and contributions, you can reach us on the studio lines with the number 0816 552 4699. The numbers again, 0816 552 4699. You can also reach us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok at iPower 102.7 FM and on X at iPower 1027. Beginning with the headlines from from the Earth newspaper, where we informed you that Ayedatiwa has paid bulk gratuities to 2016/2017 retirees today.
We also read to you from the Hope that stakeholders hails Tinubu's planned visit to Ondo for seaport projects.
We informed you on the Herb newspaper that Oyebanji, a worthy successor, Fayemi applauds.
Also, we went straight to the Punch where we read to you that APC youth leader, minister led breast cancer campaign.
We informed you still on the Herb newspaper that INEC has issued official notice for Anambra governorship election.
And of course, to the Guardian, where we read to you that ASU confirmed talks with federal government team as strike enters 7th day.
We informed you on the Punch newspaper that PDP convention has faced fresh setbacks over alleged signature forgery.
Also from the Guardian, where we said federal government reverses policy on maths as parents and teachers protest.
We informed you on the Punch newspaper that Osibanjo has led ECOWAS team to monitor Cote d'Ivoire's poll.
And of course, we also read to you from the Punch that government urges residents to obtain building permits.
So on the Punch newspaper, we told you that federal government has sacked contractor and terminated Port Harcourt Aba highway contract.
From this day, we read to you that governors abandoning platforms that brought them to power will soon regret, says PDP.
On the Daily Post newspaper, we informed you that the Lagos state government has sealed the proposed cemetery in Surulere after residents' protests.
And of course, still taking headlines, we read to you that ex-Lagos deputy governor rallies support for underprivileged Nigerians.
On the Daily Post newspaper, we informed you that Soludo has stated that everybody can now sleep with eyes closed in Anambra.
We also read to you that NDLEA seizes drugs hidden in frozen snail and electrical bulbs.
On the Nation newspaper, we informed you that Jonathan, ex-aide to Dafa, has dumped a PDP for APC.
And of course, talking free in Nnamdi Kanu, protesters defy security warnings, vows Villa March, and that was from the Punch.
And with that, we will come to an end on today's edition of In the Papers. We have taken you through the major headlines from newspapers within and outside Nigeria. And we hope this review has kept you informed on key issues shaping conversations today. Do stay tuned for more updates and programs coming your way shortly. On behalf of myself, INIOLUWA ADEKOYA, and my colleague,
Florence IBHAREMAN.
Many thanks to you for joining us. Until next time, have a productive and pleasant day.
Good morning.